Welcome to the second edition of the Freedom of Mobility Forum's live debate. My name is Cecilia Edwards, and I'm your moderator for today's event. This forum is designed to be a public place for debate that allows diverse contributors to bring fact-based elements to the table and spark an open and transparent dialogue on how to ensure equitable freedom of mobility while simultaneously mitigating climate change. Each year, the event tackles one topic of this complex issue, and panelists are invited to bring their unique perspectives. As live attendees, you will have an opportunity to ask questions to our panelists during each of the day's 3 segments. I encourage you to enter your questions so we have an opportunity to address them. In fact, many of you have already started entering questions, and the moderation has begun. Our topic for this year is how will our planet accommodate the mobility needs of 8 billion people? We ask this question because of the pivotal challenges ahead of us as a global society. Over the past 50 years, the global population has skyrocketed from 2 billion to almost 8 billion individuals. According to the United Nations, the population is expected to reach 9.7 billion by 2050. With this exponential growth comes a corresponding increased demand for mobility. However, meeting the mobility needs of all poses numerous obstacles: a strain on natural resources, financial burdens, increased urban congestion, and most of all, significant environmental impact. There are 9 planetary boundaries that define the limits within which humanity can continue to develop and thrive while ensuring the stability and resilience of the Earth's systems. 6 of these 9 have already been crossed, putting us in a position of increased risk to both people and ecosystems. In other words, we must act urgently to address environmental sustainability on a global scale. These challenges jeopardize a cornerstone of modern society, our need for and our freedom of movement. It is a global issue affecting every citizen, regardless of their socioeconomic status or geographic location. But how ready are we to collectively make the changes happen that balance our mobility needs and the environment? I am pleased to invite Alexandre Devineau, General Manager of France of the global online research company YouGov.
Hi, Cecilia.
Hi.
Very happy to see you.
Welcome, Alex. Alex will share the results of the company's exclusive survey that they completed for this forum. The survey aimed to measure the appetite for change in mobility habits among over 5,000 respondents from 5 countries: Brazil, France, India, Morocco, and the United States. This survey gathered insights through 3 questions on mobility, providing valuable data on current lifestyle and mobility trends worldwide. But before you proceed with sharing your results, Alexandre, I'm curious to know, what motivated YouGov's participation in this debate?
Thank you for asking the question, Cecilia. YouGov is a global online research company offering insights into what the world thinks. We speak daily to our panel of over 26 million members around the world to understand their opinions and behavior. One of the key pillars of our social mission is to make people's opinion heard for the benefit of the wider community. As such, we are more than happy to partner with the Freedom of Mobility Forum to get a better understanding of how our planet will accommodate the mobility needs of 8 billion people.
Thank you. Now, could you present the key findings of this survey?
1 in 4 global citizens have not changed their transportation choices to limit their impact on the environment and do not plan on doing so. This is especially true in USA, where almost 40% of the citizens have no plan to change their transportation habits. This percentage is mainly driven by the older generation and those living in rural areas. A majority of these groups have no plan to change anything. Living outside of big cities tend to be a key factor of people not wanting to change their transportation choices, likely because transportation is often a greater challenge in rural areas. Of note, the income level tends to impact the results, even significantly in India and USA. Citizens with the highest incomes are the most likely to consider changes. Our data also shows that while 1 in 4 are not ready to change anything, 3 in 4 global citizens are ready to make some change, which is very encouraging. However, focusing on those who are active and have already implemented radical changes, it's less than 10% of global citizens. India is the country with the highest proportion, reaching almost 15%, whereas France is slightly above 5%. This clearly outlines that the journey towards greener transportation is a long one and that we are only at the very beginning. Having said that, more than 6 in 10 global citizens are ready to stop using means of transportation where they are the only passenger. There is, however, a strong disparity between markets on that topics. A larger proportion of citizens in Brazil, India, and Morocco are ready to do so compared to France and USA. Data show more openness from the older generation, Gen X and Boomers, in those 3 countries to change their habits. Overall, rurality drives the result down, probably highlighting the need to propose viable alternatives to solo transportation modes in rural areas. For any anticipated changes, lawmakers and citizens are the stakeholders seen as having the biggest influence in driving change for greener transportation options, followed by companies to a lesser extent, except in USA. Lawmakers and citizens form much more of the expectation in this area than the media, the world's richest people, scientists, celebrities, or non-governmental organizations.
So, Alexandre, you mentioned the older generations. What noteworthy insights did the survey provide regarding the perspectives of the youth?
Indeed, Cecilia, the role of young generation is a vital perspective. Indeed, 1 in 4 global citizens believe that the young generation can influence the change for greener transportation. This figure rises to almost 40% of those surveyed in India. In USA, young generation, Gen Z and millennials are by far those who are most prepared to make changes in their transportation choices to limit their impact on the environment. Additionally, they are the demographic most likely to agree to stop using means of transportation where they are the only passenger. However, less than 10% of the Gen Z and millennials generation have already started making radical changes to their behaviors. Also, young generation will likely be influential in driving change for greener transportation. Their actions are not yet more tangible than the rest of the population. How younger people behave is likely to come to the forefront in the near future. Indeed, their choices and the dynamic resulting from them will strongly influence the transportation challenges that will have to be addressed worldwide. So the question is, how do we incorporate them in the discussion? What's the call for action for the young generations?
So thanks for those insights, Alexandre.
Thank you, Cecilia.
And for our audience, please note that the complete report will be available on the forum's website right after this debate. Today, we will focus on 3 key dimensions of our overarching theme: technology, business, and social justice. The technology discussion will enable us to explore the increasing scarcity of the natural resources needed for the current and future mobility of people and goods. This will lead us to think of technologies and innovations that can help ensure the optimal use of these resources. The business dimension will allow us to explore existing and new solutions and business models to enhance accessibility for all while minimizing environmental impacts. And lastly, the social justice perspective will allow us to delve into how our current lifestyles and mobility habits might be challenged by the climate crisis. Our discussions will also explore pathways towards achieving mobility equity, allowing all citizens to fulfill their vital social and economic needs. So as you can see, we're going to explore our topic, how will our planet accommodate the mobility needs of 8 billion people from different dimensions. We thought it equally important to explore this topic from various points of view. And so now, let us welcome our panelists from across the world representing a variety of stakeholder groups and expertise. Majora Carter from the United States is a renowned urban revitalization strategist. She emphasizes the need for a sustainable and inclusive infrastructure to address persistent poverty in underserved communities and prevent community displacement while improving economic opportunities. Welcome, Majora. Manal Jalloul from Lebanon is the co-founder and CEO of AI Lab. As an artificial intelligence expert, she explores the potential of AI and emerging technologies to drive innovation in both technology and business realms. Welcome, Manal. How are you today?
Thank you, Cecilia.
Roberto Schaefer from Brazil is a professor of energy economics who, over the past 25 years, has made significant contributions to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC. He analyzes transformative measures needed to reach net zero emissions by 2050, with a particular focus on sustainable energy sources. Welcome, Roberto.
Hello, Cecilia. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Matthias Schmelzer from Germany is an economic historian, social theorist, and a climate activist. His main interests include the political economy of capitalism, social and environmental history, climate catastrophe, neoliberalism, and alternative economics, including the concept of degrowth. Welcome, Matthias.
Hello.
Hello. And finally, Carlos Tavares from Portugal is the CEO and executive director of Stellantis, a mobility tech company. He focuses on Stellantis' objective to provide clean, safe, and affordable mobility while driving the company towards an ambitious carbon net zero target by 2038. Welcome, Carlos. So welcome to all of our panelists. A moment ago, Alexandre mentioned the important role youth play in shaping the world's future mobility solutions. In response, we collaborated with 3 leading universities to conduct semester-long research projects to help shape the questions for this year's debate. Spokespersons from each university will deliver a brief overview of their work and kick off the questions to our panelists. All of my follow-up questions have been developed in partnership with the students to ensure that we are including the concerns and expectations of the younger generations. 6 students from ENSA, an engineering school based in Kenitra, Morocco, took the research on the technology dimension. 5 students from HEC, a business school located in Paris, France, looked at the business perspective. And 10 students from Brandeis's Heller School of Social Policy and Management, located near Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States, explored issues related to the social justice and equity. We are now ready to start with our first dimension.